This is a Specialized Turbo Vado SL 4.0 EQ. And yes, it's an e-bike, but you wouldn't really know it to look at it. It's such a clean, understated design.
It's a bike that removes the barriers. A bike for fitness. A bike for fun. For leaving the car at home. For not getting a bus. For not walking. For just riding bikes.
This model costs £3,200. There are cheaper and more expensive models in the range, but all using the same motor and battery technology. This one comes fully equipped for commuting and just riding around town. We've got a rack on the back for bags and panniers. We've got full-length mudguards to keep you dry when it's raining. We've got front and rear lights that come on when you turn on the power button for the motor and battery. Yeah, comfy saddle, comfy grips, get a chain guard to keep your trousers dry and clean, a bell to let people know you're coming, and you even get pedals as well. Before I go into frame details and tech on this bike, let's go for a spin around town and see how it rides.
The Specialized Turbo Vado is just the sort of bike you get on with normal clothes and ride. No lycra, no special shoes, just turn it on and go. It's that simple. And it's very smooth from the off. The motor engages instantly and with very little noise or jerking. The three modes are well judged. Eco lets you eke out the battery for maximum range, while Sport mode works well in most scenarios and coupled to the wide range 10-speed gearing, looks after you on most roads. Turbo mode is fun, but you've seen whip through the battery and it's best saved for the hills when you need it most. You can happily ride with the motor turned off too. It's light enough to pedal and there's no drag from the motor. The ride quality is very good. The aluminium frame ensures the bike feels very direct in the corners and when pedaling. It turns and steers very nicely thanks to the low centre of gravity and low overall weight. The tyres give good grip and the riding position lets you easily chuck it around the streets. Compared to heavy e-bikes, which can feel cumbersome and difficult to handle, the Specialized is agile and a lot of fun to ride. It rides much like a normal bike. It's plenty powerful enough too. Yes, there are more powerful e-bikes in the market, but I found it was ample for regular riding. Steep climbs are certainly no issue and it gets up to the speed limit very rapidly. There's some noise in the higher power modes, but it's not intrusive compared to some e-bike motors and easily drowned out by other road noise. The bike feels tough too. The tyres are durable and deal with potholes and poorly surfaced roads very well. The saddle is comfy and the riding position is nice and relaxed. It's definitely a bike that brings a smile to your face, and that isn't something you can say of all e-bikes in my experience.
The Specialized Turbo Vado SL has a really clean looking frame design that from a distance does not look like an e-bike at all. The company has developed their own SL 1.1 motor hidden inside the frame right in the bottom there behind the cranks, good for a low centre of gravity which helps the handling, gives great cornering ability. And the advantage over a hub-based motor is you can more easily take the rear wheel out if you do have a puncture. That motor delivers up to 240 watts of peak power output and is driven by a 320 watts per hour battery hidden inside the down tube, which is claimed to give up to an 80-mile range or 130 kilometers. And you can extend that range with a range extender battery which will bolt into the bottle cage, giving you further additional range if you need it. The downside to the frame design is you can't remove the battery, which is an issue for charging depending on where you keep your bike. Basically, you need to keep the bike somewhere near the power source so you can easily charge it. But the cable that comes with the bike is fairly generous in length and plugs into the port on the bottom of the frame. This bike could not be any easier to ride. Simply press the power button on the top tube and you're ready to go. You have three modes to choose from: Eco, Sport and Turbo, and you can cycle through the three modes by pressing the button here or use the handlebar control up here. So very easy. You also have a walk mode underneath there, like that. On this display here you have a 10-bar battery indicator to let you know how much juice you have left in the battery inside the down tube there. But as I said earlier, 80-mile range extender available if you need it. But for most uses, for getting around town, for commuting, that's going to see you for most of the week, if not more. So plenty of range on this model. Like all e-bikes, this one is limited to 15.5 miles per hour or 25 kilometers per hour. That's the limit at which the pedal assist will cut out. But the beauty of this bike is the combination of a low weight and a zero drag from the motor means when you get to that speed, you don't hit a brick wall like you do with some bikes. You can carry on beyond that speed limit with almost no perception that the motor has cut out. In the turbo mode, you can hear the motor buzzing along. But it's not super loud, and with the noise of traffic and other noise around you, it's not so bad at all. In the sport mode, you can barely notice it. And quite a few times, I didn't even know I'd gone above the speed limit. It's so seamless, so smooth, it's almost imperceptible really when you go above that speed limit. So it's not an issue in the same way that many e-bikes are, that when you go beyond that speed limit, well, it's almost impossible to pedal the extra weight and drag from the motor beyond that speed limit. So it really limits how fast you can go. So it rides really nicely, and that helps remove that issue that many e-bikes have of being really sluggish when you try and go faster than that pedal assist speed limit. All this tech is housed in a very clean, lightweight and stiff aluminium frame with an aluminium fork up front. We've got a full internal cable routing, so nice and clean, keeps the cables out of the rain and mud. Takes wide tyres, and as you can tell, it takes mud guards and racks as well. On this bike, we have a wide range Shimano Dior 1042 cassette and a single ring Praxis chainset at the front, and Textro hydraulic disc brakes giving plenty of power to make sure you can keep this bike under control in all situations. What this bike does so well is remove the barriers that exist for many people keen to take up cycling. For fitness cyclists keen to get out in the countryside, you have the assistance from the motor to make hills and headwinds much easier to cope with. For running errands, commuting, going to work, you've got the mud guards, the racks, that makes it easier to live with on a daily basis. Just get on and ride. Yes, it's an expensive bike, it's a big investment, but it's cheaper than a car, and it's cheaper than a season ticket for a tube or railway. It's a bike that lets you get on, enjoy the ride, wherever that ride is going to take you. Anyhow, that concludes my review. If you have any questions, do put them in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed watching the video and found it useful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe by clicking that button up there if you haven't already. Other videos down there you can watch as well, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you so much for watching.